Penguin Random House Audio presents Career Cheat Codes, the unspoken, unconventional, and unfiltered rules of career success. This is the author, Courtney Johnson. To the little girl who wanted to be an author, look, we made it. Introduction. Welcome to Career Cheat Codes. Here's a stat that will ruin your day. The average person spends 90,000 hours of their life at work. That's 37% of your entire adult existence. And here's the kicker. Research shows that 70% of people actively hate their jobs, while companies waste billions annually on career development programs that statistically change nothing about your actual career trajectory. You're here because you finally caught on to the corporate lie. Put your head down, work hard, and everything will work out for you. Right? Wrong. Put your head down, work hard, and you're destined for a career that's mediocre at best. The problem is, this advice comes from an idealistic perspective. If you want to make an impact, you must approach your career strategy from a realistic perspective. And that's uncomfortable as fuck. I get it. You're not looking for another lean-in pep talk or networking tips listicle. You want the real playbook the people at the top don't want you to have. This book isn't for people who are happy with 3% annual raises and pizza party rewards. This is for the ones who are done playing small, those who are ready to play to win. When I walked into the corporate world, I didn't have the same playbook that everybody else seemed to be holding. I didn't have the family connections, the fancy degrees, or the perfect resume. I was figuring things out as I went along, like trying to solve a puzzle where everyone else already had the picture on the box. I quickly realized that the traditional path was a trap designed to keep me small. It wasn't going to give me the life I wanted or the career I was meant to have. So I burned the rulebook and wrote my own. I turned a viral problematic career cheat codes TikTok series into a full-blown rebellion that's awakened millions of people from their corporate comas. I went from being a nobody to having Google beg me to speak to their teams, to commanding 5-figure brand deals, 6-figure salaries, and a 7-figure business. And now to writing the manual they don't want you to read. The real cheat codes that expose how the game actually works. I'm here because the real game is invisible to everybody except the people who are winning it. So I'm making it visible. And I'm not some salesman selling you pretty lies from an ivory tower. Every strategy in this book has battle scars on it. Every piece of advice comes with receipts. You already know the system is rigged. The question is, are you going to keep playing their losing game, or are you ready to flip the table and play by rules that actually work? How to use this book. I invite you to listen straight through or navigate to a chapter that resonates with your current situation. This book is an invitation, not a prescription. There may be times when you think, that doesn't work for me, or that's a bit too problematic. Well, duh, that's okay. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. No one's keeping score here. Each cheat code hits different depending on your industry and culture, so just implement what feels right for you. And let's get something straight. This isn't another hustle harder manifesto trying to squeeze more hours out of your already burned out soul. The system is rigged, period. You're already doing the work, so why not be strategic about it? Some of these tactics might look like pointless corporate theater, but they're actually your secret weapons in a game where nobody gave you the rulebook. Think of me as your career big sis who's seen some shit and lived to tell about it. I'm not here to hold your hand or tell you everything's going to be fine. I'm here to give you the unfiltered truth that might make you roll your eyes, but will absolutely put you in control of your career in the long run. Not because I'm trying to be a know-it-all, but because I genuinely want you to win at a game that wasn't designed for you to succeed. fuck the gatekeepers. Pretty quickly in my career, I noticed two groups of my peers. The A players, who knew how to play the corporate game, and the B players, who didn't. The A players mostly came from privileged families who understood the unspoken rules of the workplace, who passed down that information to their kids, giving them a leg up. These were the kids whose parents had corner offices, who grew up hearing dinner table conversations about strategic positioning, office politics, and how to leverage relationships. They learned from childhood that work wasn't just about doing the job, it was about being seen doing the job, by the right people, at the right time. Their parents taught them that confidence was a skill, not a personality trait. That asking for what you want wasn't rude, it was essential. That networking wasn't sleazy, it was survival. That your personal brand mattered more than your work quality. That promotions weren't earned through merit alone, they were negotiated, strategized, and sometimes even orchestrated. The B players came from lower or middle-class families where they were taught to shut up, work hard, don't ask for what you want, and don't make too much of a fuss. These were the kids whose parents clocked in, kept their heads down, and believed that good work would eventually be rewarded. They were raised on values like, don't be pushy, wait your turn, and let your work speak for itself. And some B players came from even further outside the system, first-generation Americans, or the children of janitors, nannies, or day laborers, people whose families never worked in offices, never spoke the corporate language, maybe never even spoke English at home. Folks who didn't grow up in the United States, or who were raised in cultures where respect meant deference, not negotiation. For them, the entire concept of office politics is a foreign language. They learned that asking for raises was greedy, that self-promotion was bragging, that office politics were beneath them, that if they just worked harder and longer than everybody else, someone would eventually notice and reward them accordingly. They were taught to be grateful for any opportunity and never to rock the boat. The A players walked into meetings like they belonged there. The B players waited to be invited. The A players negotiated their starting salaries. The B players accepted whatever was offered. The A players built strategic relationships before they needed them. The B players only networked when they were desperate. The cheat codes in this book aren't unique. They're actually quite common sense to the A players, aka the information-privileged few. But they are gatekept from the general public, until now. If you grew up with ultra-successful parents, these cheat codes will be painfully obvious to you. But if you grew up like me, having to learn them the hard way, these cheat codes might seem uncomfortable, crazy, or even immoral. But the more you reflect on the cheat codes, the more you'll observe the stark difference between the A players and the B players who surround you. The same strategies that seem natural to people born into privilege are treated like trade secrets when it comes to everyone else. Research shows that 53% of those in management roles are from a high socioeconomic background, compared to 38% from a low socioeconomic background. Socioeconomic background is a major factor in career progression, and employees from lower socioeconomic backgrounds take on average 19% longer to progress to the next career level compared to their counterparts from higher socioeconomic backgrounds. And unfortunately, these stats get even scarier. In higher managerial and professional occupations, people from privileged backgrounds earn, on average, 16% more than colleagues from working-class backgrounds, even when they're doing the exact same job. It's not that B players are less capable or less intelligent. They're just trying to crack a code that everyone else inherited. This book is about claiming the cheat codes that have been passed down by generations of corporate families and putting them in your hands where they rightfully belong.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it. at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.